It is my pleasure.
It is my pleasure
To introduce
my
comrade, my friend, and my client, Joseph Jazz Hayden.
Joseph Jazz Hayden.
What this is about today is a misunderstanding between the NYPD and the communities that they are policing. If the NYPD was providing courtesy, professionalism, and respect, as they claim that is their mission, they would have no objection to Jazz Hayden. Filming them. However, because we've had over 700,000 stop and frisk, and only 6% of them resulted in anything resembling a crime.
All right. Yeah. We're trying to stay up with you guys.
Then they need to be scrutinized. And that's what Jazz Hayden does. The mayor of New York, and Police Commissioner Kelly, tells us that what is the alternative? To stop and frisk. We say that the alternative is building community. What we need is a community. To come together and deal with the issues of violence and crime in our community.
Yeah, that's right.
NYPD can play a very small role in cooperation with the community. As for today, the reason I'm here is because this is the new strategy or the next stage with NYPD.
Because this is a new strategy in the next stage with NYPD.
This is the pushback. Retaliation. Silence. The people that stand up. Well, we want to send a message to NYPD. To Kelly. And Bloomberg. That we ain't having it.
Yeah.
These charges that I'm coming here today to face in this courtroom, are totally bogus. They have no legal basis. And no justification. For what they're doing to me. I'm 71 years old. The money and resources that they're putting in to put me in a cage. They can spend in our community. To provide the people in our communities. With the things that they need.
That's right.
And I want y'all to know. I love you.
One of the ways to get speedy justice
One of the ways to get speedy justice
is to bring a whole lot of people to the courtroom.
to bring a whole lot of people to the courtroom.
If you make some noise outside,
If you make some noise outside,
and you're big enough to look like you can make some noise inside,
and you're big enough to look like you can make some noise inside,
in and out.
you're in and out.
So we don't want you to get in a jam with the police or the courts.
So we don't want you to get in the jam with the police or the courts.
But if you do,
But if you do,
because you were here,
because you were here,
we got your back.
we got your back.
And we'll show up in full force.
We'll show up in full force.
And we'll make plenty of noise,
We'll make plenty of noise,
especially Gene.
especially Gene.
And we'll make sure you get justice.
And we make sure you get justice.
So now we're going to hear from Sarah and Jazz
Now we're going to hear from Sarah and Jazz
to get an update
to get an update
on this injustice.
on this injustice.
Sarah.
All right. So all that happened in there today
All that happened in there today
was that the Part F judge
was that the Part F judge
set another calendar date
set another calendar date
for Jazz's case,
for Jazz's case,
which is October 11th.
which is October 11th.
Now, we know
Now we know
that the District Attorney's Office
that the District Attorney's Office
currently plans to indict Jazz before that date.
currently plans to indict Jazz before that date.
Really bad, really bad.
So as it stands now,
As it stands now,
there will be a grand jury
there will be a grand jury
convened sometime in September.
convened sometime in September.
But we should all mobilize
So we should all mobilize
around around the grand jury,
around the grand jury,
around the October date,
around the October date,
and whatever is to follow.
and whatever is to follow.
I look at all the resources
I look at
All the resources
in this courthouse,
in this courthouse,
in the police station,
in the police station,
on the streets of Harlem
on the streets of Harlem,
that are being used against me.
that are being used against me.
It is outrageous.
It is outrageous.
It just makes no sense.
It just makes no sense.
All I can ask of y'all
All I can ask of y'all
is to stand by me,
is to stand by me.
We will.
because surrender is not an option.
Surrender is not an option.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
There'll be no backing down.
There'll be no backing down.
There'll be no admissions of guilt.
There'll be no admissions of guilt.
It will be resolved on our terms,
It will be resolved on our terms,
or not resolved at all.
or not resolved at all.
There's some things more horrible
Yes.
Something more horrible
than prison.
than prison.
That's living in the world without self-respect
That's living in the world without self-respect,
and living in the world intimidated by bullies.
and living in the world intimidated by bullies.
We're not having it.
We're not having it.
All right, I talked about the legal. And now I want to talk about the extra legal.
And now I want to talk about the extra legal.
They took notice of you in there.
They took notice of you in
They
there.
took notice of us in there.
They took notice of us in there.
The judge saw you.
The judge saw you.
The DA saw you.
The DA saw
And
you.
everyone in that courtroom saw you.
And everyone in that courtroom saw you.
And it makes a difference.
And it makes a difference.
All the advocacy that everyone has done outside the courtroom for Jazz
All the advocacy that everyone has done outside the courtroom for Jazz
makes a difference.
makes a difference.
And this is the way the system derails movements.
This is the way the system derails movements.
By putting people on trial.
By putting people on trial.
To distract from the work
To distract from the work
that we're all doing.
that we're all doing.
So we have to spin this on its head
We have to spin this on its head
and make these prosecutions
and make these prosecutions
part of the work we're all doing.
part of the work we're all doing.
Yeah.
All right.
And once again, man, I want to thank y'all. And I'm telling you, man, I've never felt so much love, man, and so much warmth, and so much, man, it's just, it's mind-boggling. For somebody brought up in the streets of Harlem and have gone through this system all my life, starting with kindergarten, to be able to stand here and be surrounded by all this love, man, and all this support is a wonderful thing, and I want y'all to know that, man. I do not take any of it lightly. You know, I will do this job as long as I have your support. Thank you.
We love you, Jazz. Yeah. Power to the people. Power to the people.
Yeah, New York is like an island, a big Rikers Island. The cops be out wildin', all I hear is sirens. It's all about surviving. Same old two-step, try to stay alive with. They be out robbing.